Happy New Year, Inside Edge. Welcome to the Inside Edge, guys. I am Michael Ray Newman. Happy New Year. It is the new year, right? I've said that a few times. That's been my whole motto. Every time I talk to somebody this whole week, the first of this year is 2019, I say Happy New Year when I answer the phone because it is a new year. And I love the new year because the new year is filled with hope. Everybody has their resolutions, right? I have no resolutions. I have goals. We set goals. We don't set the resolutions because my resolutions last about 48 hours and then I get bored with them. I don't have any direction with them. But what's exciting is we have our goals. You can sit down. We can define the gap, and that's what we're going to be doing a lot on this program. Thank you for watching, guys. If you're watching from YouTube, the social media platforms, or if you're listening to us on a podcast, and I hope you are, and I hope you're working out or really filling your mind mentally or spiritually or physically or in your career, developing your finances. All those things we need to do this year to redefine the gap is filled with hope. And hope is a catalyst for all change. We all know that, right? The monster millennial, Kevin E. Welcome in.
That was a solid intro, man.
Well, thank you, man. It's been, I hadn't done it in 3 months.
It's been a little while. So.
I got a lot to say, man. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Well, Happy New Year, and I don't make any resolutions either, just so you know.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, no resolution.
No.
Somebody said that my New Year's my birthday's when they do their resolutions. So I think resolutions are overrated, but I love goal setting. And at the end of this year, we were just starting. At the end of last year, we sat down as a family, and my youngest is 12 years old, and Lily is her name. Presley's my oldest, but Lily goes. We started talking about let's pull what you wrote down at the first of the year. Let's pull it out, and we used the process, the life process, the business process that we use to build procedures, the sales process we use to sell, understand, and relate people is trust. Right? Remember that? We talk about it a lot on this podcast. We talk about it a lot everywhere I go. Is the life process. It works with my little 12-year-old. It works in the executive boardroom. It works when negotiating, and it is trust. Think, plan, and prepare. And she pulled her list out, and she had things on there like get along better with her teacher, smile more.
That's solid.
Good
goal.
Have gratitude every day. It's funny that those little things. But it's her list, her goals. Her list, her goals. When January of 2018, a little bit over a year ago, almost a year ago, she found out that she gets a tryout for cheerleader for the first year for school. And there's an All-American chosen. So what she did was, she goes, I'm going to be All-American. All right, what does it take to be All-American? She said, well, I'm going to have to work out and eat right, and I've got to, you got to prepare like a champion, right? And we have this mindset of a champion that Edwin Britt and I, Edge Global Inc. delivers corporates all across America this year. We've delivered it, between he and I, a couple of hundred times. And it's the premise, and the whole thing is about preparing like a champion. Because when you chase championships, like if we're chasing to be number one in a goal in a period of sales, or if you're chasing the playoffs right now, we were talking about the Dallas Cowboys in the playoff run, they're trying to chase that championship. If they're just trying to win the championships, win or lose, it's final. It's over. But if you prepare yourself mentally, physically, and in everything you do to be a champion, to play like a champion, and you're always on that level, then when things come to you that are unexpected, you have things that beat you up, then you prepare yourself and you have the mindset of a champion. The byproduct is the championships. All the stuff you win, all the stuff that we get is money and things that we get. It's just something that we accumulate because of the way we live. So she came to me almost a year ago and said, I want to be an All-American. And I was like, oh boy, well this is pretty. First of all, she's the youngest one if she was to make the squad, and she did make it. And then she started training. I said, okay, let's think, plan, and prepare. What needs to happen for you to be an All-American? Well, my back handspring's got to be better. I got to get my tuck. And also, I've got to be able to learn the dance. And more importantly than that, I've got to cut out sugar so I can make sure I'm eating right to be prepared so I can do all the exercises I need to do. We had like 8 things, think, plan, and prepare. Then
that's
I know it, man. Hey, she's 12.
Preparation, man.
Kevin's like, man, that's a lot.
That's a lot.
What are you making these kids do? What was cool about it is she's telling me, I asked her this easy question. What do you want to accomplish? I want to be an All-American. What does it take to do that? All right, let's talk about it. And she went down this whole list, and we cut things back and added things and wound up to about 8 key things that she needed to do to prepare herself and have the mindset of a champion so every day when it got tough, she'd be able to do it. Well, she wound up making a squad. 20 girls were on the squad. They were coming in. They were going to take 3. And this was great. The last 2 weeks, she really kind of fell off her training regimen. 2 weeks before the big camp and the All-Americans are coming in, the college cheerleaders to evaluate. 2 weeks before. Well, guess what? As a parent, I wanted to say, hey, you got to do your workouts. And her mama was like, Lily, are you here are you doing what you need to do? Lily, are you here? Lily, are you? And I brought her in that first day and I said, don't say another word to her. Don't say anything to her about All-American the rest of the week. She spent another day. She actually did some stuff. That weekend she did some stuff. But the rest of those last 5 days, she was eating candy, swimming all day. She missed a workout because she was going to a different cheer kind of a deal. So I said, here's what we're going to do. We're not going to make her do her workouts. She had her goals. She laid it out. Now, when she loses, this is a perfect opportunity to say what happened. I mean, see, it's hard, right? Because when the kids, like my dad used to say, boy, don't climb. He'd catch me climbing a tree. He would say, son, don't climb that tree. It's going to hurt. He'd walk up, pull me out of the tree. If you fall that tree, boy, it's going to hurt. And then guess what I would do? 20 minutes later.
Fall out of the tree?
Before I fell out, though, guess what I was doing? I was climbing the tree again. And instead of him doing those helicopter parents, like we won't even let our kids fall down these days. We won't let them, upset their status quo. We won't let them skin their knee. We always go talk to the teacher for them. We do their homework for them. My neighbor, the kid came home the other day and failed his paper. She was fired up and just flat out pissed off. I was like, what are you doing? She goes, I got an A. I mean, he got a B on that paper, and I wrote that paper myself, and it should have been an A. So we, as parents, when kids run into tough times, we mow the path and level everything out so they can be successful. We set her up. She set herself up in January. In July, she fell off at the end, and I was so excited for her. I wasn't excited. Her mom said I was excited. I was not excited for her to fail.
But you're like, ooh, this is going to be a good life lesson.
It's going to be great. I'm going to set her down and say, now, what did you accomplish? And what did we do not to accomplish what you need to do? So you got to finish, right? You got to finish strong. That was my whole deal. Well, she came home, or she texted me that night, my wife did, and she goes, you're not going to believe this. Only 3 girls were picked, and the youngest one made it. And the 2 oldest ones made it. I said, well, who's the youngest one? Lily, my daughter. So she made it anyway. So she's, my coach said one time, Michael, to play quarterback, you got to be confident, not cocky. And I'm sure he wasn't telling me that because I was being confident. And I think Lily might be a little confident right now, so I'm looking for a way to knock her down a little bit.
I think she should be taken down a peg.
Yeah, maybe
to
take her down.
Accomplishment,
But I really, and people ask me this, and Alan Waco, a good friend of mine, said, what happens if she doesn't make it? And she put all that work into it. I said, that's better, because what's going to happen after that? She's going to be better for it. And when she gets away from that and walks away, and the pain is a casual glance. The pain, when you screw something up, you look at it and go, oh, man, that hurt. I don't want to talk about it. But when you really take an in-depth look and turn around and find out, why did this not work out for me? What could I have done to make this come out to the way I wanted it to come out? Then it's a teachable and coachable moment. That's exactly what we would have done there. And there's other things that we've done and she's done, and I hold her to a pretty high, account. I want her to be the best she can be, right? That's all we want for all of our kids. But it's so easy to do the short-term easy stuff for them so they won't hurt, but that really hurts them long-term. And I told her this week, I said, I'm not raising you to be a good kid. I'm raising you to be a good adult. So it's really easy, and that's what's for that whole long little story there. That's my story time for the day.
Yeah, that was good.
That was a good one.
But it's a true story, man. I talk about my real life, and there's no doubt, without a doubt, right now we are putting goals in place. What I call my goal setting program is defining the gap. Now, if you think about a whiteboard, if you're looking at a big whiteboard, I'm not talking about a small one. I'm talking about a wall, a complete wall, like this wall painted white. That's white eraser board, and you've got the little bitty bottom of that whiteboard, that wall. You've got a little stick figure of you. At the top of that is what if, and that's like, I know it's not possible. But what if your life could be like this? What if you could achieve mentally, physically, spiritually what you wanted? What if your career would be? What would it look like for your career to be perfect, right? How do you eat an elephant? You got so many things going on, you don't get anything done sometimes.
Yep.
And we had that conversation today. So what would it look like? What if? I know it's not possible, I know. But what if? Because and then what we do is that white space is the gap. And that gap is what we have to define. So we have to define the white space. And today, since it is the new year, and we do have 7 areas of growth in our life, which are mentally, physically, spiritually, personally, your career, your finances, and your family. Those are the things we focus on. And when we focus on those things, and Mr. ZIGLAR brought it to my attention, I'm not sure where he got it from, but it's, you rate yourself on all these areas 1 to 10, and then you find out where you need help in. It's a really cool pick me up. It's a good check up for the neck up is what it is. So we're going to be focusing on different areas of those for the next 7 podcasts. How's that sound?
Sounds good, man.
Sounds good, brother. And whatever else I want to rant on and ramble around on, right?
Yeah, we take a few tangents, unexpected turns.
Hey, the best podcast that we have, man, the best podcast that we have is after we turn the mics off.
I thought that's what you're going to say. Like, yeah, when nothing's being recorded.
Yeah, last time we were here, we had a 30-minute podcast, and then we talked for 45 minutes, and I said, why are we rolling on this?
I know. I'm just not one of those guys to record someone without them knowing, but I'm like, I should secretly record it, but then I would know, and that would throw the whole thing off.
It would probably work out better if you did that, though. I need to sign a release form from you as we do these podcasts.
That's true. You just take me at my word that I'm not,
So welcome to the Inside Edge. Today I have another guest, and the reason I'm telling you that we're going to be talking about the physical today is because I have a very good friend of mine, number one. So I bring people on the podcast of people that have had an impact on me, and I love what they've done by living their life by design. We've had conversations over the years where this young man here has told me what he's done and what he's been through and what he's accomplished since then, and we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But I have here the CEO and founder of Evolution Required, Ken Garbez. Where's the clapping? Do we have a
You shouldn't have pulled the curtain back, so I'm just going to mix it in
KG,
later. So.
There he is.
Michael.
You're gonna mix it in later.
Yeah, there's no curtains.
Where's the studio audience?
I don't know.
So I've got Ken here. Ken Garbez, welcome.
Welcome.
Brother. We've
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year to you too. So you heard my little rant there.
A little bit.
Yep. Ken flew in today from Miami this morning. I picked you up. We went back to the office and back to the bat cave there, and we had a kind of a mini whiteboard session, but really define it. You do a lot of different things, man. I mean, you have what's really cool. Kenny's really transformed himself over and over in business. I mean, you've moved through an industry, a lot of different places, so now you could run the industry you've come from. You kind of moved in a parallel thing going into where you are now.
Right.
And then about, how many years ago was it when you just started getting crazy about being healthy?
Yeah, actually, it started about 15 years ago when I realized there was a problem. It took about another 10 years to actually act on it.
Well, before, yeah.
be
Well, let's just say
honest.
I met you in San Francisco.
Yep.
It's where you're living. And next thing I know, you call me and say, I'm in Vegas. Come see me.
Yep.
And then next thing I know, he goes to Miami. So you're not afraid of it, that's for sure.
No.
So
not at
15
all.
years ago, you started noticing some stuff, and you weren't, I don't know, what was it? You weren't happy? You just felt like there was more to it, or
Well, let's start. I smoked for 30 years before I actually quit.
that just so is
So-
not you now that I know you. I mean, now I would never picture that. And I knew you when you smoked.
Yeah, I smoked a lot.
Yeah.
So back a day, binge drinked on the weekends with all the buddies and friends, had all that good times.
I've heard rumors of that.
Yeah, a few rumors. Never together. No, we wouldn't do that, right?
Right.
Pretty much, I went to the doctor once, and they told me my triglycerides were like 777. They're only supposed to be like 100.
Oh.
So
I would have said, "What's that?"
Yeah,
first
me
of all.
too. I'm
Is
like
that
a
good or-
major
I'd be
layman.
like, high five.
yeah, I didn't know what it was either, but like I said,
Triglyceride is,
I'd be like, high five for 700.
right.
he's like, you need all these drugs and everything. I'm like, whoa, I don't want no drugs. So,
Right.
so I actually ate salmon straight for 30 days
Wow.
and it got him down to normal.
Really?
So that's
like
when
every
I really,
meal, or just, periodically throughout the day, or like 3 times a day?
No, like
it's
for-
like the only thing that you ate?
for dinner.
Oh, man.
And I had plain turkey sandwiches for lunch every day, pretty much.
Wow.
But I didn't stop smoking. That wasn't a good enough reason. So didn't stop drinking
Not
either.
on my deathbed, but so I'm just
That
kind of on
wasn't
my
a good
way.
enough reason either. So then it went. So nothing really. I ate better from that point on. I really didn't. I did get a bike from a garage sale, and I kind of rode it around. I rode it over to the lake to smoke.
Like you rode the bike physically,
Yeah.
not a motorcycle.
So
a
that
real
was
bike.
that was exercise, right?
So you rode over to the lake to get your happy spot so you could light up.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm digging
Yeah,
it.
it was the whole river community, right?
Cool.
It's better. It still counts, right? It's just
Yeah,
a little bit of
exercise, right?
exercise.
So that was about the extent of it, and then probably, 5 years after that. So I started eating a little better. So about 5 years after that, I got a real bike, a mountain bike. Then realized even though there was mountains surrounding me, there was like no mountain trails.
Wow.
So I eventually traded that in for a road bike. And so I casually was just riding my bike around and got into, rode with some friends and up hills and still never quit smoking. There was times I could say I rode, 107 miles in San Luis Obispo, 8,000 feet climbing. And then we went straight to the store, got a pack of smokes, and
Celebrate.
then to the bar. Celebrate. Even though we were one of the couple of last people to come in. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But
Wonder
so that
why.
happened. So that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
it was still just kind of moved on. Then I moved to Vegas, of all places, right? Like you mentioned.
That can't be healthy.
That's the
could-
place to try to quit drinking and smoking.
I'm telling you, man. I'm like, you go, well, and I'd ask you that then. I was like, man, there's no way. Every time I come here, I'm excited to get here, and I'm way more excited to leave. Every time I go to Vegas, and I was like, I had that conversation with him. I said, man, how can you live here? He goes, well, if you're not going to Vegas every day, there's outside suburbs and everything else.
Right. You assume when someone says they live in Vegas that they walk out of their apartment and they're on the Strip.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh no, we were up in the hills. It was beautiful. We were up in
Yeah.
Summerlin. We were like in the foothills of the Red Rock Canyon.
Yeah, Red Rock's awesome.
But I worked in the automotive industry,
Uh-huh.
and we took a lot of people to dinner, so there was a lot of
Entertaining.
food, entertaining,
Eating bad, eating late.
drinking, eating
Drinking
late.
late, yeah.
There was one point I have this picture. I met a chef at a restaurant, and I still look at that picture now, and I look this wide.
I know, dude. You're not. I've shown that picture. You showed me that picture, and I've
Yeah.
shown you from where you are now and what you look like. And I've even shown it to like Ryan and a couple of friends and guys that work for us. And I go, man, he looks good then. He didn't look. You didn't even look bad.
Oh,
but
no,
you
that
just
was
didn't
bad.
feel
That
good
was- no,
in your
yeah, I felt-
mind.
yeah.
It's probably worse than you think. But yeah, so then you really did you've done when you moved to Miami, is that really when you saw the?
Yes, it was never serious before that. I rode my bike. I thought I was doing good for myself. I did the centuries. I really didn't do any weightlifting back then. Occasionally, I had a bench, so I would just go work out once in a while.
Just get a little pump.
It's
on
like
it.
the bar was still heavy at that point, right? But it was in Vegas when I realized that my life wasn't going in the right direction, that I needed to make a change. And I don't know if it was from all the people you see in Vegas. You see everybody, carrying around, big old bottles of liquor and falling over and all that fun stuff.
Begging for money and
Begging for a lot of bums, all that. So I think that was the beginning of it, where I realized, well, this is not right, And I really started thinking about life, and I'm looking back at my family's history. My grandfather eventually died of diabetes. My uncle died early of diabetes. My mom died of cancer. My brother died of cancer. And I'm sitting here smoking and drinking. And at that point, I was almost 50 in Vegas. And so I really started thinking a little harder about it. Maybe I should make a change. And then we moved to Miami. So everybody's fit for the most part in Miami.
It's also another town that's fun to drink and smoke in, though.
Yeah, well, I know it's kind of a hard.
But they do it fit while being fit.
At least you look good. Yeah.
First they get in shape, and then they go to drinking and smoking. Yeah, that's kind of when I noticed the pivot. I know you'd kind of been already doing a lot of stuff, but there was at some point. You just called me excited about what it is, and you're like, man, I've just been. And you were sharing some of the family things you were talking about, and you're like, man, I just can't have it. Just can't be that way, And then you broke out this one thing that really still impacts me today. You said you had this life graph.
Oh, yeah.
That was you forgot about that, right?
No.
Dude, that's in the book. That's going to be in the calendar, right?
It needs to be
that's
in the calendar,
Day Runner,
right?
It's this graph, and the average human, or male in the United States at the time was 77 years old. That's how long you're going to live. That's your life expectancy. Then he has this graph, and it has where he's born. He wrote his date on it, and then all of a sudden he's gone all the way down to the day, 365 years, all the rows, 77 rows.
Bunch of little tiny boxes.
Yeah, little bitty boxes, and he put the day where he is right now, and you look at that, and what your life expectancy is. Man, you talk about
that one thing will make you change everything.
win. You talk about the win list that we talk about. What's important now?
That's a good way to look at things.
What's important now?
Yeah.
He goes, man, I've been trying to make the most of every day. Like some days I don't feel like I've done enough. I'm down with my dog, and I'm like petting my dog. I'm just really trying to be in the moment. And because we always have said life are these little moments, these stackable moments that you can remember, and the win list of what's important now, especially when you're carrying around 2 phones and everybody's beating you up and you're beating yourself up, and there's a lot of things that you still want to accomplish. But here's where you need to take a step back and look, and that graph is was really powerful to me too, man. I was already considered myself life by design, all this other, I'm all this life by design win list kind of a guy, but man, I'm still not doing enough. There's more I can do. But I think that we have to keep it in perspective, though, because I think you really don't realize. I think you do in a lot of ways, but a lot of people don't realize what they've already accomplished when they look back and see where they were, how far they've come. It's pretty impressive.
Or what they haven't accomplished. When you look at that graph and you realize your age, and even though I've done well, I got great family, great kids, great wife, make decent money. By any means, I'm in good shape. Your retirement plan, I have all that.
Absolutely.
But then you look back and it's like, what else have I done? I lived in that normal cycle that every human's supposed to live in, and that doesn't mean it's the perfect cycle.
Oh, definitely not. You
I mean,
call
because
it,
you get the point is you get trapped in those days of repetition over and over, good or bad.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a lot better good repetitions now. Had a lot worse ones back then, right? But and that's when the squares add up. All of a sudden, oh my God, I just turned 50.
I got less time than I do have more. 77 and 50. It's not a lot.
There's not many squares left, right?
Yeah, the squares are starting to disappear.
And then you go, did I go everywhere? Did I do everything I wanted to do?
Oh, yeah.
And the answer is going to be everybody's going to say no.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's by yourself or with your family or with your kids or whatever. And, so those are that graph will make you think a little differently. Because we always say, let's do it next year. And I still haven't even got to anywhere I need to be. I'm still thinking about that all the time. It's like, now this year we're going to go to Iceland. Because that would be cool.
Kilimanjaro, still haven't done it.
We haven't done it.
We're
We
supposed
talked
to,
about it for like 3 months. And,
yeah. We haven't done that. I get it. There's more you can do, man. But what I've seen you change since that graph's come out and what you've done, I mean, you transformed your body. I mean, you've transformed and invented and created revenue streams and companies. That's the evolution required, I think, came from that time in your life, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you just realize that I've got to evolve. I got to change. I got to get better. There's more out there that I need to do. And I think that right there is what I would encourage everybody to take a look at and do, and just spend more time being the best you can be. Because we do. It's exactly this. It's exactly the wandering generality as opposed to the meaningful specific, right? Because we get in those ruts. You didn't say it, but that's the word is.
The rut.
You're going through the same thing every day. And a rut is just the grave with the ends kicked out of it, right? It's like the processionary caterpillar. They put all the processionary caterpillars, they call them that because they follow each other around and around and around. Well, a French guy that did a experiment, and he put the pine needles in the middle of a flower pot, and then processionary caterpillars all around it. Pine needles are relevant because all caterpillars love they love pine needles. It's their preferred food. 24 hours, 7 days a week, they did this for 7 days straight, 24 hours a day, and they all died one at a time.
Yep.
Food was 3 inches away. We get so focused on paying the light bill, so focused on the next week's paycheck, focused on the things that are they important? Yeah, we got to have money to live. But if they really would go follow their passion and put together a win list, spiritually, mentally, physically, your career, personally, financially, and your family, put that kind of stuff in perspective and use a process to build a procedure. And the secret of those two things is the third thing: your personality, your passion, what you really care about. When you put those three things together, those three things alone, a process that you trust, and ours happens to be trust. And then the procedures, you build that with your personality in those 7 areas. I promise you, it changes your life. And I can go look at you and I can tell you from that time that I met you since that came, I knew you before too, that you've done that. You don't even realize what you've done. And I didn't even realize what I've done 5 years ago when I flipped the script and started telling people how I built all these businesses, how I've been able to make, impact generations of my family kind of money. And that's not the most important thing I've done either. Most important thing is what I'll do, because when I die, I'm gonna die and go to heaven, but my spirit will live on in the people that I impact, my family, my friends, and anybody else that'll listen.
That's it.
And I think you realize that. I mean, not know so many words, and that's the reason I have you here right now, man. You've made a huge impact on me, and I sincerely appreciate you. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate you being able to stand out among a crowd. One of the industries I'm involved in is the same as his, and it is heavy. Customer relations, old school, good old boys, taking me out to dinner late, drinking a beer, smoking a cigarette, encourages not a good lifestyle when it comes to sleeping right, eating right, right?
Not at all. Stress.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
God.
he is like the figurehead. Did a move in that industry, but in a different space. Recreated himself. He wasn't a sales guy, but he had all the customer relationships, right? Doing the same thing for 12 months. He didn't have a drop of alcohol. Is that true?
True.
Yeah. I mean, that right there takes a stand, and that right there to me stands out, and that's true leadership is when you lead by example. And and plus he was serving an industry. He went over to an industry or a company that was devastated by losing a customer. He said, "Let's go, pick it up," and he stepped up and he led that company when nobody else was. So, I'm super proud of your leadership and the example, and you being my friend, man. So I really appreciate you coming by today.
Thank you, Michael.
Now, don't call me Mike. That's number one.
I said Michael.
Oh, okay.
He did.
I'll never call you Mike. Who's Mike?
I'm just kidding. You can edit that out later. I'm just busting your balls. Well, definitely edit that out later. But what I want you to really talk about for a minute. Talk about for a minute Evolution Required. What it's about, what it does, who does it bring together? Who does it bring together? You have two customers in every industry. I say this, we preach it heavily. You have two customers. You have your internal customer, your employees, and then you have your external customer. Your internal customer will be your employees and your vendors, and your external customers are the people that buy and trade your product or goods. So, with that being said, explain a little bit what Evolution Required look like and what is it.
Let me tell you about Evolution Required first.
Please.
Have you seen? I'm sure you have the movie WALL-E.
Sure. Yeah.
You've seen WALL-E.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's this spaceship. So all the people, they corrupted the planet they were living on. So you couldn't even live on it. So they built a spaceship and they took off. Well, WALL-E was a robot.
Oh, yeah.
WALL-E found his way, remember? It's a Disney movie. He gets his
Yeah.
way back to the
Of course I've
robot.
seen it, yeah.
So there's all these big 300-pound people on their little carts, right?
I remember.
With their TVs,
Mm-hmm.
iPads, phones, whatever you want to call them, but they can't even walk, and they're going around.
Art,
So
life imitates art.
when you think of that, and you look around today of everybody on their phones, all the people that are on their carts, and there's so many people that are just overweight and they're in carts. I mean, they're driving around cars because they can't walk anymore, right? So our human race is going the wrong direction. It is fed by money and government and bad food and bad
Chemicals,
decisions
yeah.
and chemicals, and they want to feed you more medicines because that's how they all make money. So that's kind of the evolution required part. Like, we need to make a change, right? This planet needs to make a change. Then when you take the word evolution, and I kind of took an interest in Navy SEALs books. I've never been in the military, but it always fascinated me, right?
Right.
So I read a bunch of
talked
the
a little bit
books,
about
and I learned what an evolution into the military is. And it's something that you keep doing repetitively over and over and over again until you master it. Unlike a goal. A
Right.
goal will get you there.
Right.
Or you need all these little and big goals to complete an
Stepping
evolution.
stones, right.
But an evolution is changing who you are forever. Completely.
Muscle memory, all that.
Right. You get muscle memory. It becomes a habit. Just like bad habits, you can make good habits, right? So I was obviously with smoking and other things. I was just like, you build these habits and you gotta put your energy into somewhere else. And so that kind of led to my fitness change, and it kind of led to me thinking about, well, this world's wrong, let's make a change. So I started getting into the industry of my own, and I went through a whole personal trainer search. So you join a gym, you meet a personal trainer, that personal trainer, hey, say you should talk to this, or you get in a cycling group and say, hey, this person, well, they'll sell you a program. And so you're reaching all these places, and you're grabbing a piece here, you're grabbing a piece there, and oh, hey, my friend's a nutritionist, you should meet her. Oh, great, perfect, I should learn how to eat, right? So you have to train yourself to do all these things, and it's not easy, and it's all word of mouth.
And finding reputable people is just, this is my buddy, so try this. May or may not be a fit, right?
You just don't even know.
That's right.
Right? So you have to try that. And it for me, it took a number of years to put all the pieces together. And I was thinking, man, I wish there was just one place I could just go and have all this information where I can choose from.
Right.
So I look on the internet and there's nothing. There's everybody selling you a program, but they're not selling you a package, or they're not selling you a local trainer because maybe I need help. Maybe I don't know how to do that lift,
Right.
or whatever. So, yeah, you can join gyms, a CrossFit, did that, right? But then I found my personal trainers, went from CrossFit to powerlifting, and now I do everything in my garage. I finally learned everything myself. It took me a long time, but I still retain a personal trainer, nutritionist on and off, and this and that. So what Evolution Required has become is a place where you can go on there and say, hey, I want to learn how to lift. I need a trainer. So you're going to go look on there. You're going to put in your general information. You're going to say, hey, I want to lift weights.
Yeah, if I don't want to do, I can do it virtually, or I can actually see somebody, or
Either way. Yeah,
in
if you don't
person.
know how to lift weights, you want to meet somebody that can do it in person. I mean, you have to join that gym wherever they're at, or make that arrangements with them, but then you're going to have somebody that's been vetted, that you know is insured, that you know is going to
has
take care of you.
credentials. Yeah.
He has all the certifications. He's going to take care of you.
Same thing with nutritious. Same thing with
Nutritious, yes.
Same thing for what else do you have? It's like an Angie list for workout people, really, right?
Exactly. So you're going to have all the people that you can reach out to,
Yeah.
where you can buy programs online or not, Or if you just want to find a yoga studio, you're going to be able to look on there for a yoga studio, and you're going to be able to find a rating on that yoga studio in time. It's new.
Yeah.
It's going to take some time.
Yeah.
But there'll be a rating on that yoga studio, and it's going to
Reviews, and ratings, and
reviews.
everything else.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome, man. I think that's really cool. And you're really building this from a grassroots level, so I think it's going the right way. You're doing this right in Miami.
Yep.
And then you're pushing it out. And I know who you've brought on, the team that you're building as far as technology, and they're right on point. So I know it's going to be great. What do you think? Okay, because what you said there is like, here's what you can do out there right now. If you want to work out, you can YouTube, you can Google, and you can find all these people that say they're selling stuff. But there's no really, a lot of it, let me ask you if you agree with this, there's a lot of it behind it. It's just a lot of fluff. There's no real meat and potatoes. There's no real continual. No. Is that true, or would you agree with that?
Some are, some are not.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, some are, they just take your money.
It's a crapshoot.
And if you already know what you're doing, if you're already a seasoned athlete or been lifting weights or cycling or whatever, any of that kind of thing a lot, that you could just pull a random program offline and it'll work for you.
And you'll make it work.
But you have to put the time in. You're just not going to do it. Most people aren't.
Yep.
And that's the biggest problem. Most people in this world want to do this, but they're afraid to walk into a gym the first time. Mm-hmm. CrossFit's a great community. However, it also promotes competitiveness too quick. And then people get hurt.
And beat up.
They teach you how to lift real quick, and all of a sudden they put you in an environment where you're competing against the guy next to you, right? It's I love CrossFit. It's one of my favorite things, but it's so easy to hurt yourself, right? So you might want that personal trainer first,
right?
So you can properly spend the time and learn how to do the lifts. Then go do CrossFit. But where do you find that person? You can go to the CrossFit gym and use their local guy, but that's just going to be the guy they tell you to use.
Right.
You don't get to choose that person.
That's good.
At least this way you can choose who you want.
And right now, it's the first of the year, so you're having a ton of people coming in for that, looking for it right now. And here, this is what I really think your program, and some of these programs are being built for, and we're talking about the physical piece right now, but it really goes into more of that. I mean, you really talk about mentally and spiritually, whether it be just meditating or whether it be what you believe in. Those things all really are. They're all intertwined. For sure. And because we're at the first of the year, it doesn't mean this can do any time. Any time of the year when you hear this, you have to start. The most important thing is that you start. You said something that resonates across anything I've ever done before. When I do sales training, our leadership training, we do our business elite training that has 7 areas. And it talks about your brand alignment, which is the marketing piece, and your sales piece. And then it talks about operational, which I think most things, operations piece to build procedures. That's what people don't have. They have all these likes and shares and hearts on social media platforms. But then they get all those, and how do you turn into money? Well, you have to have a procedure to build your operations piece, to build your operational piece, so you'll have the products you need to deliver. That's the big miss there. So we go through and do all this training, and then of course we have the accounting and the leadership piece is huge, and the communication and defining the gap. All those 7 areas is what we do. But this is what you said that resonated, that across anything I've ever done, sales, business training, C-level executives are notorious with it. Working out is the place. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get up and do it. I go out and I give it 100% for 2 days, get sore, and never go back. The systems, the procedures, it works if you do. That's the key right there. You said that. You said you actually got to do the work, right?
Yeah, you have to make up your mind that you're gonna do it.
And this is where Evolution Required, I think, can really step in and help people. It sets them up to be successful.
Well, it's basically going to give you the same resources an athlete already has.
Yeah, and it gives you that all that knowledge they have in their brain is going to give you a chance to be able to go to educate yourself in one place instead of having to dig it out over and over again, right?
Yep.
That's good.
Exactly.
Well, brother, I appreciate you stopping by. I look forward to Evolution Required. Check them out on Instagram. Google them. Come to our platforms, whether it be Instagram for us, KEPX. Kevin E's always got some good stuff going on over there, right?
Yeah. Mic off? I did turn my mic off. Yeah, come check us out for sure. Anywhere you consume social media, check out KPX Live.
You got a couple of big things coming up too, don't you?
I think we both do. We got a lot of big things in the works.
First of the year, we're booked, so I'm excited for it, man. So if you guys need anything at all, please hit us up. Check us out on edgeglobalinc.com. Michael Ray Newman on the Facebook page, Instagram, Snapchat. Man, you old boys like me, you need to get on Snapchat. Follow me because I'll have you Snapchatting like a couple of 14-year-old girls. I'm pretty good at it. No matter what you do, guys, go out and be great today. Win. What's important now? Get your win list together. Set your goals. Define the gap. And above everything else, be nice.